What if your efforts contribute to others' legacy and being service to others? I'd like to welcome Peter Moo to the Design Your Legacy podcast this lovely Friday. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Angelina. It's great to be here.
It is my pleasure to host you, and we came to be introduced through a mutual associate, Jeremy Shapiro. So we're just going to do a shout out quickly for that lovely introduction.
Yes, thank you, Jeremy.
Okay, so I believe you're joining from the Bay Area in the United States of America, from the state of California.
Actually, I'm in Monterey, so I'm officially out of the Bay Area. So I'm kind of feeling kind of proud about that.
Ah,
I feel like
okay.
I'm no longer part of the rat race, but now like in a more peaceful corner of California that I can be proud of. So,
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're going to chat about money today, as well as coaching and some of what it is that you know. I think you run a firm called Wealth Cairn.
that's right.
Yeah. So, would you like to start us out with an icebreaker regarding how you arrived to what it is you're doing today?
Oh, well, Cairn, it's an investor coaching company where our motto is to teach people how what investment is and it isn't, and in a process, building long-term wealth and financial confidence. And we start a process by having people discover what's their true purpose for money and what does their American dream look like. We believe that deep down we all have a mission. We all are up to something bigger than just who we are now and what money is today. There's something that's way more important than money itself. It's something that motivates you deeply, that you get up every morning to go to work and sit through traffic and having to deal with all this stuff. And I mean, all of this, whatever it might be. Uh, so if you discover truly for yourself what your true purpose is, then everything else will fall into place. Then your actions around money becomes choices as opposed to decisions that you have to make. So that brings a lot of freedom, and that's where we start. In a process, we'll teach people what investing is, what are some of the destructive things that investors do today, and how they can avoid losing massive amount of money through speculation and gambling. What are some of the real scientists behind investing, and how you properly engineer a portfolio, protect what you've already created. So the end result is the family get to discover freedom, fulfillment, and love in the present in their whole operations.
Yeah. I think having this conversation about money is important because money can be a taboo subject. We don't always know how to talk about it. And yet here it is. It is, I think, coming to the forefront, especially with, I think it's about 140 trillion that's going to pass in the coming years all around the world. And it's going to be a very important factor with what they call the rising generation, the next generation, and people can what they call assimilate to that transfer and the responsibilities and the knowledge when it comes around money, or they can be blindsided. So thank you for being a guest today.
Yeah, for sure. Funny you mentioned that. One of the things that we talk about in our process is the no talk rule around money.
Mm,
Money is with along with sex, religion, and
politics.
politics, and many other. It's just a family have a natural avoidance, and there's just innate discomfort about talking about money. When I was growing up, my family never talked about money. I had no idea how much money did my parents have to make to live in a neighborhood that we live in, to drive the car that we had, to send me to school the way that we did, and I had no idea. The no talk rule is the number one reason for financial failure. Every family has some version of the no talk rule. So yeah, it's a big problem. And in our work, we seek to create this intentional environment for people to feel safe and discuss family financial matters, so that everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, absolutely. We can't read minds, and the more that communication can be explicit, particularly around money, the more, because money is energy at the end of the day, and how we move it, how we store it, how the relationship. Are we angry with money? Do we love money? You know.
Yeah, it can certainly be seen that way. And I mean, have you ever felt deflated because of a financial conversation? But yeah, it can be. It's definitely related to energy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me start with some of the challenges around money, and then we're going to move over to the remedy. So many affluent individuals today feel overwhelmed, perhaps with market uncertainty, tax changes, and the sheer complexity of wealth. So, what are some of the biggest challenges you see high net worth individuals and families face right now or even this idea of a legacy, if it even comes up at all in your office and in your conversations.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. A lot of people are very concerned about the state of the country, the state of the world, right? If you pay attention to the news, in fact, fear and anxiety is all over the place. This country seems to be tearing itself at the seams. The different political parties can't seem to find ways to collaborate with each other, and a lot of times people find it really discouraged that their friends and family that they've known for many years turned out to be supporting a different political party or a different kind of a set of agendas, and it caused them to question, how are we all different? Are they really my friends? And then so that's really challenging. And in the domain of money, what's showing up for people is, oh my God, what should I do with my money? When they turn on to the TV, all the talking heads in the media place, every one of them seems to have a different opinion about what you should do with your money. What if China invades Taiwan? What should I do with my investments? What if this war in Ukraine keeps dragging on? What should I do? What if the government shuts down? Now that the government has shut down, what if it continues to stay this way? What should I do with money? So a lot of times, it is the wealthier folks that actually have a lot of money invested in the marketplace have the biggest level of anxiety
Mm-hmm.
what's to come, what's happening in the world, if I should
Mm-hmm.
say. Yeah. So,
Yeah, a lot of
uh,
times people don't speak about the anxiety that people with money have, that
yeah,
they
well,
walk around with.
people are proud of their accomplishments, right? And again, the no talk rule about money, it takes a lot of courage to say, hey, I'm anxious about money despite the fact that I'm affluent.
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm anxious about the state of the world and what's happening. And what the default is that people want to look good and be proud of what their accomplishments are. So they talk about what's working for them and their businesses and how great places to travel and amazing schools that their kids go to, but seldom people have the freedom to discuss what's keeping them up at night.
Mm, interesting, interesting. Thank you for sharing that. I think it needs to come out. Are there any other challenges that you see and hear that your clients are facing or that people are talking about, like whether you're part of a mastermind group or yeah.
In the domain of money,
Sure, sure.
yeah, what to do with their investments, how to retire.
Hmm.
People are concerned about their retirement. What does that look like? Where do they want to be? Do they want to stay in the US? Want to go and move to Europe? What does that look like? How do you produce retirement income with consistent basis all the way to the end? And that's persistently a great challenge for people.
Yeah, it's like the math problem in the socioeconomic environment.
Yeah, there's certainly that element of it, but a lot of it is also what retirement actually constitutes, right? You talk about legacy. Other than having to fund a great life, what
Hmm.
else is there?
Hmm.
I mean, this can't be all there is,
Hmm.
right? Now that you can see, like financially speaking, especially for people that they know for sure that they have more than enough to last their entire lifetime.
Hmm.
And then what? What's there for you? I mean, what new discoveries can you find? And like this can be all there is.
Yeah.
So a lot of people that I'm working with are kind of on the verge of discovery, and it's a great place to be in the inquiry, in my opinion. So,
Yeah. Well, I think when we're like children, we still play and we're curious. This world is an amazing place, whether it's travel or just being able to um, do more than just work. Okay.
mhm.
So let me talk about an emotional undercurrent, and I am agitating the problem a little bit, and then we're going to get to the remedies. Okay. Beyond the numbers, what kinds of fears or anxieties surface, whether it's for your clients or associates in the industry, et cetera, whether it's a loss of control, family conflict, fear of being forgotten, et cetera, when it comes to this idea of
Fear of not having enough.
mm,
Yeah, that's a big one.
okay.
It comes in all different kind of it materializes in all different kind of ways, but at the root of it is insufficiency, the fear of not having enough, the fear of doing the wrong things. A lot of people sometimes they're the sole decision maker when it comes to money,
Hmm.
especially a lot of the successful people. that they have an arrangement where, maybe the more successful in business spouse manage more of the financial affairs in a family, and they feel like they're doing it all alone, and the entire family well-being all the way to the end is dependent upon them making all the right decisions every step along the way, and then that could be daunting for a lot of people. The
Mhm.
thought of having to do everything right, you know, it's quite challenging.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. Perfectionism is what holds an individual back from designing or planning their legacy oftentimes, unless they're just naturally
Mhm.
courageous and they're willing just to basically run out to the football field and that's what they do, whether it's in business or in sales. Then how we do one thing sometimes how we do everything. And so then design legacy is easy. But many people, that perfectionism piece of, well, I've
Yeah,
got to get it perfect.
have to get this right. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're completely paralyzed and then taking actions.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, with the rise of AI, let me bring up artificial intelligence for a moment. And ChatGPT and Grok and so forth, they're very good with some things, but we still have to, um, when it comes to personal development and personal growth and leadership development, we still have to lean in and do the work. So, with the rise of AI-driven investing, complex tax legislation, or even crypto wealth transfers, what misconceptions do you see that actually derail or distort an individual or a family's legacy intentions?
Great question. I myself is very excited about the arrival of AI, and I think this is in the long term going to come in. And I mean, I think AI, artificial intelligence, could be a great tool for us to use to simplify our lives, to minimize some of the mundane and administrative stuff that we have to deal with. I think the biggest misconception for the moment is probably the accuracy and completeness of AI supported work.
Mhm.
The tool is not quite there yet. Sometimes they're full of errors, and so from our office uses AI, but we have to double check and triple check the references that AI makes, and all the time, just to make sure that that we're doing our due diligence for our clients. So, but it'll be there one day, and I think AI will be nearly perfect, if not 99.999% accurate. In that case, I mean, I for one is looking forward to it.
Yeah, I saw something the other day. I think it was called like AI Journal, and it was speaking about how AI is writing white papers in the medical industry. And I was like, wow, woo, humans are they better keep up.
Well, I mean, I think our relationship with AI is not that it's not of a keeping up with them. It's using the AI as a tool to further expand our capacity.
Mhm.
Right? Imagine how much we can do, how much more we can, how big of an accomplishment that we could have. If we didn't have to worry about the mundane stuff that I mean, I already have a robot that mops my floor. Uh,
Ah,
if I get somebody to cook my food, I enjoy cooking, but still, sometimes I just like, ramen is good enough. I just want to get fed and just keep on focusing on what I'm doing. If
mhm,
you can be cleaning my house, for example,
mhm.
if you could be free from that mundane stuff, then the human's capacity to expand and create is unlimited. I can't wait for one. So,
Yeah. So it sounds like when it comes to the world of money and financial planning, AI is great, but double check the details.
for now, yes. And there's
Yeah.
always the human element of it. Humans, at the end of the day, we have this desire to be in the company of other human beings.
Hmm.
So the empathetic and the listening element of AI is not quite there yet.
In terms of the
Maybe someday,
nuances.
yeah, maybe someday it'll be there as well. But I, for one, I think it's a great something to look forward to.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're speaking into that. I think that what was it, Zillow showed up, and then it raised the question of, do we need appraisers to go into properties anymore to be the eyes
Yeah,
and ears of a
it
bank?
turned out the answer is yes and yes and yes, because Zillow can't see the inside. Even if it can, it doesn't always know all of the nuance of things. For a moment, human beings still have a place in that whole process, but I mean, there will be a day where AI would do just about everything. You know that Mandalorian episode where Jack Black and what's their name? They're the rulers of this planet, where the joys are doing all of the productive means, tasks for the entire planet, so that the human beings are just focusing on the management and then living a good life. And I think that's the direction that we're going to be heading to.
Oh, that's great. What was the title again of the show or movie?
The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian. I'll have to look that up. Okay.
You do know. You
Yeah.
have to know. How can you not know Mandalorian?
Well, I think if humans could enjoy life more, and I'll go back to this the world of planning and designing one's legacy. If somebody is in a survival mode, or in a if their brain is in fear, they won't go to that space of creativity. But if you
100%.
eliminate fear and their concern around survival, the creativity that then comes forth because they feel safe and they can start even designing 100-year legacy plans or thinking about, I mean, they could have a vision like, some of the affluent families on this soil of North America, across the pond in Europe, et cetera, of thinking out 10 centuries. And because it's, they can be like a child that's like dream again.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Spot on. Yeah,
Mandalorian.
when your mind is boggled, there's no creativity. When your schedule is so busy, there cannot be creativity. I think being busy sometimes is a badge of honor that people wear. Oh, I'm so busy. I'm busy. I don't have the time to. I'm creating a habit where I say I'm not so busy.
Good, good.
Say, how are you? I say, hey, great. I'm not so busy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think there's something to be said about, if AI can then serve humanity's best interest, and we're like not lazy about it, but rather it becomes a tool. Like, what is that one expression? Like, uh, it's something about like, not money uses the man or man uses the money. I'm probably butchering it right now, but it's about staying in like that space of proactive intellectual effort, and saying, okay, well, if I'm going to be the captain of my ship, then how do I consider all these tools to get to that end goal of retirement? And I
Yeah.
might not know about the crypto world, but do I want to know? And if so, what is it that I need to know? So I can look before I leap.
Well, the truth is, you are the captain of your ship, whether you want to admit it or not. I mean,
Mhm.
some captains are standing at the helm, looking through the binoculars. They're talking to other advisors, their navigators, and trying to chart their course. Others are like, "Okay, here I come."
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
it doesn't matter how it is. You are literally charting your own course. Everyone is.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go on to the. Let me break the ice for a moment regarding your firm. So you built Wealth Karen. Am I pronouncing that word
Karen,
correctly?
yeah, it's just like a woman's name.
Okay.
It's old Scottish word. It's a landmark that you find. It's the You've seen this in the wild. It's the pile of rocks that one, that's smaller than the one on top,
Mhm.
and people leave that out in the wild, in the wilderness, as a landmark. So standing at one, you should be able to see the next one, then the next one, then the next one. It guides you back to your path if you were lost. So
Oh.
yeah, you've seen those. And so when it came time for me to build a business, I can think of no better visual reference to the work that we're committed to. Like I mentioned earlier, you are up to something bigger and grander than money itself. You are on a mission. So we seek to provide guidance and some education along the way, so that you get to chart your own course.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I can say in the world of coaching, if a client comes up with the answer, they own it. If the coach or advisor comes up with the answer, it's interesting information at best.
100%. If
Yeah.
I come up with it, I have to justify and defend it.
Hmm.
If you discover it for yourself, you own it.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, I mean, you are 100% accountable for what you create anyway.
Hmm.
It's all you at the end of the day.
Hmm.
So let's just start with that.
Yeah. Okay. So you've built Wealth Karen to help people navigate these complexities. Would you share a story behind why you started this firm and what makes your approach different from traditional wealth management?
Why I started this firm. I mean, I started, yeah, I'm many years ago, I was introduced to this. In fact, as you can see, I was engineered. I was educated as an engineer at UC Davis,
Okay.
because my dad was an engineer and he told me about engineering. And I was, oh, that sounds great. And maybe I'll do that. But day one on the engineering job, I knew I wasn't going to be an engineer. It's just not something I wanted to do. I didn't have the interest in it, but I could do it. but soon after that, I met someone. His name is Jeff Morrison. He's a financial guy. He runs a firm, I think, to this day in Cupertino. And he had a very unique practice. His whole idea was helping families manage to, expenses for college and build a sustainable retirement. But what's unique about his practice was that he worked with students to help to put them through a series of tests that, like Myers-Briggs, for example, that help reveal that their interests and their skills and what strength and weaknesses that they have. And from that, those personality traits, he identified a long list of feasible career outcomes. And from that, and he worked backwards to a list of fitting majors that would produce those careers, and then a list of colleges and universities that would, strong in those that offer those majors. So he brought a lot of intentionality in the process of a child developing into a productive young adult.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard that, it blew my mind, for one, because no one ever once set me down when I was a young person asking, hey, what is it that you want to do when you grow up? Who do you want to become? And what's in your future? My parents loved me, but they just told me to, hey, work hard and be somebody.
Yeah, contributing
So,
member of society.
yeah, sure. In my words, but back then, I mean, it was very unintentional. So the result of it, I spent 6 years in college, became an engineer, and having to reinvent myself into somebody else. Had I known what I wanted to do and explored those options when I was in high school, I would have probably saved 10 years of my life focusing on something that I would be really good at.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I heard about that, I knew that that's the direction I want to go in, and I joined for it. And Wealth Caring came out years later, um, as my effort to expand into other areas of financial services. So really taking this intentional effort to design not only just your college process, but also your retirement and your entire life's process, focusing on developing your purpose and your version of this dream. At the end of the day, when you die, looking back, what has to have happened for you to say that I've lived a fulfilling, a purposeful life?
Mm-hmm.
Who was all there?
Mm-hmm.
What house did you live in, or what country did you get to visit? What big things did you get to do? What contribution did you make on this planet? Whatever your legacy might look like, let's just take a moment and imagine that we are already there, and allow yourself the opportunity to create without limit, to explore, to experiment, to think about, like, hey, what else is possible?
Mm-hmm.
Just focus on the possibility conversation. I mean, isn't that isn't that the place you want to be anyway? So that's what this business is all about. It's giving people an opportunity to create an intentional space to discuss what their purpose and what's the dream that they're creating. What does that look like? And align their actions in the domain of finance to fulfill that.
Yeah, I bet you're a great guide regarding navigating, the complex back to the simple. So it's like, okay, I get it.
It's a great fun conversation. I have I'm so blessed to be able to actually do this intimately with all these families that I've worked with. It's a tremendous process.
Yeah, good, good. Well,
Very inspiring.
well, thank you for also speaking into, because even that phrase, traditional wealth management, if somebody comes into, let's say, some funds, some financial capital, some money for the first time, it's like even that wealth management, it seems can be like a little bit intimidating compared to, here's an opportunity to play and explore your answers.
I don't know what traditional wealth management really is, because I think everybody does it differently. But I think if wealth management is simply limited to managing your money, investing in picking mutual funds and quarterly reviews, what a boring conversation to be having. That's the easy stuff. I mean, I could do your financial planning in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I know how you should be investing. That's the easy stuff. But the
Mhm.
hard stuff is the communication of that. The hard stuff is for you to discover that. I've been at this for 20 years. I know what you need to do. But for
Mhm.
me to communicate that for you and have you discover That's the hardest thing to do. Like I said earlier, if I told you what to do, I need to defend it.
Hmm.
But if I teach you the discovery, if I guide you to your own discovery, you own it for the rest of your life. And then you always own it. No matter what portfolio I build for you, there will be a day that it comes that I am not in your presence. There will be a day where in the middle of the night that you hear on the phone that the market is turning and some things is happening in the world and some other things is happening in your family, and you make decisions about money that could be very destructive.
Hmm.
My hope is that through this whole process that you get to discover, hey, you know what? I can distinguish my psychology from the actions that I take in the domain of finance. That you can say that I'm feeling anxious about my money and I don't have to take actions that are destructive to my wealth. I have a community of people. I have my coaches to talk to, and I can engage in conversations about and sort all of that stuff out.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Your
think it needs to
psychology
be
is
sorted
not
out.
me.
I don't think that somebody will take the proactive measure unless they know someone or they get introduced to someone. Because if we weren't having these conversations in school growing up, it's like a whole brand new industry of and facet of life. One of the things they always say is when you're growing up, your report card is like, oh, you get A's and B's and that's good. The real life report card is your balance sheet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
certainly part of it.
Well, it is a part of it, but people don't necessarily think to look in those terms. They're like, okay, I'm just going to go to work. Whether they're a small business owner, self-employed, uh,
Yeah.
or even an employee within a company. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it really is an opportunity to be actually taking a moment to reflect on your true purpose. The default operation for human beings is scarcity.
Mm,
Um, the innate built-in instinct of us is just doing more and getting more stuff, and that's true a few hundred years ago when your survival literally depended on you having more stuff.
hmm.
If you didn't have more firearms or a bigger army, the tribe over the hill might literally come and take all you have and kill everyone. So for survival, yeah, that was true up to a few hundred years ago. But now we live in a different society. Our survival depend on different things. And for the fortunate few that actually have passed survival phase now, they know that they have money to last their lifetime.
Hmm.
Beginning to create what else is there now, that becomes a much bigger challenge. And that's the work that everyone has to do. You can't get away from it. You have to do it. Everyone has to do it for themselves.
It's so interesting. There was I think it was on Netflix. It was about the Medici family, and he had to
Yeah.
go get armies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sit
Yeah.
with his back against the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know of the family, but that's the work that everyone has to do. No one gets out of this for free. So
In terms
your
of
own
that,
judgment is
yeah,
really
that personal development work of why it's almost soul work.
it is.
Yeah, interesting. Very cool. Let's say someone's listening right now and they do feel stuck and unsure where to begin. What are the first 2 to 3 practical steps they can take today to start feeling that they are aligning their wealth with their values and legacy goals?
Well, a powerful place to be coming from is just acknowledge that you're stuck. You can just acknowledge, yeah, I'm kind of stuck in this area. It doesn't make you any less than who you are, and it doesn't diminish your accomplishment. Even Michael Jordan has a dribble coach. I mean, we all need someone to, coach us at some point. So the point is to acknowledge, yeah, I'm kind of feeling stuck.
Hmm.
And then you can get flat on what is it that you're stuck with, you know,
Hmm.
begin to discover. There's a lot of things you could do. You can have a conversation about what your true purpose is. We do a whole seminar called the American Dream Experience. Over 2 days, we'll teach people how to discover that and begin crafting your version of the American dream. Take a moment to think about who all lives inside of your dream.
Hmm.
Who are these people? Who
Hmm.
are the people that inspired you? Who are the people that you can't shut up about, like having a conversation? Who are the people that you can't wait to see?
Hmm.
What are the things that get you excited at night? Everybody's got something.
Yeah, I'm glad that you have that. I think it's valuable even just to ask the question because it means the answer around the purpose matters, that they're not just a worker bee. I remember one time I went to the Getty Museum in Malibu with my father and we sat down
Love the place.
and he said something like, most people work their whole life and then they die. And then he gets off the concrete bench and I'm like, where do I go with that?
Yeah, ask him about that. Really? What came, like, what brought that up? So now that you know that, Father, well, like, any words of wisdom you can share with me, in being in inquiry of that. So those are the thoughts that come to everybody at some point, and I'm curious to see what led to that.
Well, I think all of us have a little bit of power, whether or not we've got the wealth of the Gettys or we don't have the wealth of the Gettys. And I think that a part of design a legacy is even understanding our values and passing them on. It doesn't necessarily, if we are lucky enough to become affluent, fantastic, it will expand us. And if we're not, it can still be as simple as staying in choice and knowing our purpose.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Wealth is all relative. So I think a common misperception I think that you asked earlier is that you don't have to be affluent or wealthy to be start thinking about your legacy. The truth is, your legacy has little or nothing to do with the amount of money that you have. I mean, if you think about it, there's tons of people have made a huge difference, enormous amount of contribution to this world, and the lasting legacy. The people, the story of which people are still telling today, that when you look at their balance sheet, is not very wealthy. I don't know about Martin Luther King. I can't imagine he was a billionaire, or Gandhi.
Mm,
That says that freedom through nonviolence, and inspired a whole generation of people that made India what it is today. And I mean, I can't imagine who was a billionaire back then.
yeah.
So there's something that you can do. You could serve on your community. You can contribute your time, energy, and effort in a cause that you truly believe in. You could move the needle in a lot of different ways. The humanities have tons of opportunity. This is what makes this beautiful, is that if you look, there's there's endless opportunity you can contribute to the world.
Yeah, to show up and bring your own gifts and skills and talents. Very cool. Let me transition us over to risk assessment. What happens when affluent individuals don't take the time to intentionally, let's say, design their finances, design their purpose, design their legacy, or plan as best as they could?
Well, I think the biggest impact is that at the end of the day, that they feel that there's something missing.
Mm,
When you are living at the effect, which is the default, well, the default of living a life is living at the effect of life itself.
hmm
Uh, you know, somebody might be in a situation is that in their conversation they talk about things that happen to them
hmm
instead of what actions they're taking and what creation that they're making in the
hmm
world. They're living at the effect of life. So the biggest impact is at the end that they don't that the people often feel that they didn't get an opportunity to make uh, to live a life with the intentionality to create in a way.
mm. Oh, that is huge.
Yeah,
So,
what a missing that would be.
yeah, well, regret.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any stories you could share?
Of that, I um I can't think of a story from a client, but I can share my own story. I think um yeah, so I think I can share my own story with you is that sometimes my mom and I have a pretty challenging relationship in a way that she loves and we love each other, but she, from my perspective, she seems to always want to raise me as a child. I'm 46-year old this year. As an adult, I have adult needs, but she talks about what I should be eating and drinking warm water and things like that. So for a long time in my life, I just kind of gave up on that, and I just thought that that's just the way she is, and I don't need that. And I didn't really visit or spend a lot of time with her. But now that, as I get older, I'm beginning to look at the time that we have with each other and then look at, what's really at the source of it is is our love for each other, and she's just at the limit of her expression of her love to me. And so so to not be regretful at the end of my life, I need to know that I'm doing everything I can today to
Mm-hmm.
create the connections that we have, to create opportunities for us to engage and connect with each other, to create the kind of experiences in life, to go see the world, to travel to different places, so that she gets an opportunity to experience the world with abundance
Mm,
for the rest of her life. So,
yeah. And I think that's a part of your designing your legacy.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because
For sure.
sometimes legacy is in the subconscious of someone, and sometimes they don't even know that they have the personal agency to design it. And I bet for her, she probably thinks it could be, outside of her periphery. Like, who am I? Right? And I'll move on to the next question in a moment. But, then the cost is, well, like, what is it that you really want? What is it that you really think? And she could go ahead.
Yeah, that's for her to discover. I'm not in her head, so I don't know what there is for her. But that's her cross to bear.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's I need to know at the end of the day that I've done everything I possibly could to take care of all my clients, to create the life that I wanted to live a life with the integrity, and that's my burden. So
Mm-hmm.
you asked for an example. The best one I could think of is just my own personal
Well,
example.
thank you for sharing because it's personal. But legacy is personal, and
Yeah,
even
sure is.
yeah, and maybe her legacy will be your children.
Mm, yeah, I don't know about that. My girlfriend and I share a dog. We're partly keeping our dog alive. So I see all the parents out there doing what they do today. I mean, I all the kudos to the parents.
Okay, well, let me talk about emotional wins for a moment and the opportunity. So, what transformations on the flip side have you seen when an individual or a family finally gets clear on their purpose, their legacy, and or their financial plans?
Yeah, the biggest transformation is that things all of a sudden becomes a lot easier.
Mm,
I think there's one family, for example, I'm working with right now. I mean, they're immigrants to this country, and they've done tremendously successful. They are parents now, and they are renting in Silicon Valley. And then one of the biggest challenges is that just should we be buying a house or should we be continue renting?
hmm
You know, and their decision up until this point it was entirely based on the numbers.
hmm
Well, if you look at the numbers, it makes zero sense to be buying. You're going to be paying three times the money on a monthly basis, owning the place compared to renting, and then on top of that, you have all the responsibility of home ownership. So it makes no sense. But but a home is not a house. A house is just a structure itself. A home is where dreams get created. Is where where you raise a family, where all the birthday celebrations happen, where you fry your turkey and doing your barbecue over the holiday. I mean, a home is so much more than just a house. So we started having a conversation about what their true purpose for money is, and they discovered their purpose for money is family, among others, family, freedom, kindness, and something else. And so, with family, freedom, and kindness at the center, what they discovered was that buying a home is very much what they want to do
hmm
because they're tired of having to move all the time. They're tired of rent increases. They're tired of dealing with landlords where they just don't want to put up the money for necessary maintenance and repairs. They're tired of having to spend energy and effort in doing those things. They'd rather be just owning something on their own and be proud of that home ownership.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, it's no longer just a decision to make; it becomes a choice. When you make a choice, it's powerful. When you make a decision decide come from what? Come from
It's cutting off.
cutting off. It come
Yeah.
from a lineage of words that are like pesticides, genocides, suicide. If you come from killing something off, and the psychological impact of that is that there's always something missing when you decide on something, where you decide against something.
Mm,
If you could turn that around and making a choice, you lose nothing. You're powerfully making a choice.
yeah. So what I'm hearing is it's not just impact around a portfolio, but a sense of peace, purpose, and
It's never about
relationships.
the money. It's
Oh,
never about the money. It's never about the money.
all right. Well, I think that's some profound wisdom right there. I'm going to have to find a good clip for like Facebook. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let me bring up current trends. So, what new tools or strategies, whether it's in tax planning, philanthropy, or even digital assets, are you most excited about that can help an individual or a family future proof their legacy? Because obviously it helps to have funds to support it.
New trends. You know, I think in this day and age, people jump on new things too quickly
Mhm.
without sometimes without a verification and evidence. In terms of investing, for example, I mean, in the past decades, how many new trends we've seen? It was the active management where people believed in that their manager knew what the stocks to pick and how to build mutual funds and all that. Nobody knows. Nobody can tell the future. Even if they know, they wouldn't share it with you anyway. No active. What if I knew which stocks are going to go up, go through the roof? What would I actually do? If I knew which stocks go through the roof, what would I actually do? I mean, I would sell my house and put all my money in that and then disappear. And nobody knows what the future holds. So that it was the active management, then was index investing. But during the early 2000s, when the S&P 500 was flat for 12 years, people realized index investing alone doesn't solve their problem. And then it became, what was the thing after that? It was robo investing and
Mm.
the computer algorithm doing the investing and moving the money around. And then they discovered that terribly didn't work. And back in 2008, a lot of people lost tons of money. And now it's the AI investing, and then it was Bitcoin, it was AI investing. I mean, but like, there's always something new. So I think nowadays people tend to jump on new things without thoroughly vet through the science and the engineering behind all of it. And where at the same time there's tried and true investing methodology to win the Nobel Prize of economics. The people teach this stuff in school if you go to learn how to invest, and those sometimes they're not as fancy. You don't see people on TikTok talking about it, but so yeah, that's what I have to say about that. I think take the time to verify what you've got going before jumping on to something new.
Yeah. So maybe there isn't necessarily a way to future proof your legacy. You have to do the work.
You have to do work. This isn't set it and forget it. This isn't. This, no,
But I know people that, yeah. Well, I think what
no.
someone's legacy is one of the most important things, but they don't realize it sometimes until it's too late, if at all.
Yeah, if they ever get to talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's make it personal. For many affluent listeners, this conversation can feel technical. The conversation around legacy. Normally, people think about legacy and as death and taxes, which is very exciting. Yeah. Come over here. Let's talk about death and taxes.
Oh, super exciting.
Okay. Until it suddenly gets personal, how do you help individuals and families connect the financial mechanics with the emotional story they might like to leave behind?
Oh, I think you start with the emotional story. What's the story
Oh.
you want to tell? Imagine money isn't an issue. What's the story that you actually want to tell? What's
Mm.
the story of Angelina? What do you want to tell?
Yeah.
Fast forward. Let's do a thought experiment. Fast forward 30 years. You've retired, and I come to visit,
Hmm.
sit on a porch, reminiscing about life over a glass of wine or whatever you drink.
I'd be 76.
Okay.
Did I make it past 70? I'm at 76. Okay.
Yeah. What has happened in life for you to say that I've lived a good life? I've lived a fulfilled life.
Hmm.
When
Tell
you
me.
look back,
Yeah.
where did you go? Did you get to travel all around the world? Did you get to own your own Shelby?
Oh, you're pretty good, Peter.
How many people, how many lives did you know that you touched, right? Of all of the clients, the biggest difference that you made, who who are these faces that come to mind? I mean, what? Who's all there? Who's in your own family? You know?
Thank you. I think that's great. Yeah. Okay. And we're gonna now get to the part about in this particular podcast where I get to ask you, what does this word legacy mean to you personally, more than the dictionary definition, more than etymology, than 1 to 2 sentences? What would you like your legacy to
I don't
be?
actually know what the dictionary definition is, but legacy to me, I tell you what it is not. A legacy to me, it is not something that happens when I die.
Hmm.
It's absolutely not. Legacy happens now and now and now. Legacy happens is ongoingly. It's every and each moment. It's the person that you want to be and how you are creating it. That's what legacy is to me.
Very nice. So in 1 to 2 sentences, is that what you would like your legacy to
Yeah,
be? Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I didn't have
Who
this
I
question.
create myself to be.
Oh, please, one more time.
Legacy would be who I create myself to be.
Hmm. I know this question is not or is not on the list, but I oftentimes think about the legs of a chair and the values being those legs, and the chair being your legacy vision. What do you think might be your top 3 to 4 core values?
Oh, empowerment,
Mm.
integrity, responsibility.
Hmm.
Yeah, empowerment of the people all around me. Um, integrity, bringing living a life, a high level of integrity. Bringing integrity to everything that you do. And responsibility. I think living a good life is the individual responsibility of each of us. Nobody else can instill that in you. You have to create it.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, before you share your website, I do have one more question. I realize I'm putting you on the spot. If you were to set aside a weekend or two a month to design a hardcover coffee table book, let's say for the next year, what images, stories, pictures, life lessons, etc., would fill its pages for your
Oh,
coffee table?
I can tell you exactly what it would be. It would be a book, a thick book of all the images of my friends and family, all the amazing places we've visited or amazing things that we've done.
And you've been to Shasta,
I
Mount
have been,
Shasta.
in fact, I have been to the top of Mount Shasta by mountaineering up there and skiing down all the way to the bottom. So there will be a few pages of my friends and I doing that. I know exactly who's there. Mark Huber's there, Sandro, there's Mark Bianco, Sandeep. I mean, these are the people that fills the pages of my book each and every day. And this trip was just when I sailing down Amalfi Coast in Italy. We have a group of great people, Mark, Fook, and Amanda. All those people. I mean, we get to share. What a blessing that is to share a part of your life with them and create amazing experiences in life. Without a doubt, without any doubt, that's what fills my coffee table books.
Yeah, oh, I think it's amazing. And I did get to see some of the videos of Mount Shasta, and it's like, wow, how cool. It's like the adventure. So that's also probably something you have in common with Jeremy Shapiro.
Yeah, it could be. He's
Yeah,
very
he loves
outdoorsy.
adventure also.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about legacy before I close this out?
Your thoughts. What comes to mind is, you gave me some really good opportunity to think about like what else is there for me. If I were to create what else is there for me? How else can I contribute to others, and what other things that I can do to move the world forward? And so, yeah, it's you give me the chance to inquire about that. So thank you.
Good. And you know what happens with your answers. You own them. Okay, what's a good website for a listener to learn more, and then I will close this out.
Oh, to learn about my business, you can go to wealthcairn.com. It's wealth, CAIRN.com, and everything about me is there. So,
Very good. Very cool. Very cool. Okay. We started out today's podcast episode with the intention of what if your efforts contribute to others' legacy in terms of being in service to others? And I think we have fulfilled that business promise today. Some of the great key points that you brought up had to do with understanding, what are the destructive things investors do and how do you properly engineer a portfolio? But more than that, the no talk rule, is that something that's present within your home, and whether it's internally as an individual or whether you have a family or whatever your situation is. And also realizing that many affluent individuals face anxiety, and even if they face it alone and they don't speak about it, and that oftentimes the emotional undercurrent is thinking, gosh, I might not have enough, or what if I do the wrong things that can influence our choices. And even with AI being great, we still have to double check details. And also realizing that even if the default is scarcity with our mindset, that we can always go, okay, that might have worked in caveman days or in the time of the past centuries when people needed armies in Italy and so forth. But that there's got to be something more. And if we don't design our legacy, it could be that something is missing. So
Yes.
everyone to
What a missing that would be.
Yes. Okay. Well, and I think that I am going to close this out right now. And thank you very much for your time, Peter.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity, Angelina.
It was my pleasure. In closing, I'm Angelina Carleton, the hostess of the Design Your Legacy podcast, as well as the founder to Legacy Planning, a boutique coaching and advisory firm based out of Beverly Hills, California, USA, but international in those I get to consult. I hope to dive deep into subjects that can help a person define, develop, and execute their legacy, and continue to scour the landscape for those who can be great resources to every dimension of your legacy. For many listeners, there can never be enough education and preparation in the moot or moat around your castle. Whether you find yourself a new wealth or generational wealth, may the content on this channel be an anchor in any storms ahead. We do our best to provide original content for your intellectual and emotional curiosity. If you are tuning in on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, etc., please remember to rate and review, share with your family and friends. And if you feel so inclined, reach out to either Peter or myself and share your thoughts and feelings about today's conversation. So thank you so much for joining us this week. And thank you, Peter, for speaking into your legacy.
You're welcome.